Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, FDA approved, sterilized, and ribbed for her pleasure. Broken pencil logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy. Badmonting.
At this point, I just want clean socks and drawers, man. Mr. Copyright infringement himself, the petty messiah here, and the big man, and the medium-sized man. I've got a show for you.
It's never quite really a whole show without the whole team. And the world's 6-man tag team champions of the world, Craig, are here upon you to bestow upon you episode 6'7". 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot much. The Broken Pencil Book Company Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is a heavy, content heavy show.
Hey, hit them with the hashtag because I think we went last 2 episodes without doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if they got it through the social media or they got it from whatever they download or stream from, they definitely got the hashtags. Let me just run them off real quick. Mark my words, Broken Pencil Logic. You can't write this. Fuck Life Shorty. Fuck the Casual Fan and with the shit.
With the shit.
There we go. Hit them.
How can you ever forget that we with the shit?
Because we stay with the shit, and there's no reason for me to ever forget that we're with the shit, but I do. But I guess, like, you want to hide something, you put it in front of your face.
You got to walk into the family gathering and announce that you are with the shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know we just said grace, but I have an announcement to make. I am with the shit.
What you do is you wait till after they done prayed over the food. If they pray at 1, you show up at 1:30. Where you can go straight into the kitchen, but when you open the door, I'm with this shit. And then you go drop your bottle off at the table.
Here we go. So, man, we got a lot. We can start off with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view event, whatever it was.
Ain't nobody come to see Lotus.
Man, men's money. Do we even care about the card?
No.
Okay. All right. So we'll just land the plane then, because we got a lot to go through in a short time to do it in. So we have Otis, who won the men's Money in the Bank, and after Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles were thrown, Aleister Black were thrown off the fifth story of Titan Tower to a 6-foot drop underneath, and it was a miracle that they made it and that they lived. They survived a 6-foot drop. Like Mick Foley didn't survive 2 22-foot drops. But anyway, at any rate, Otis is your men's Money in the Bank winner after a fluke catch. Your women's Money in the Bank winner is Asuka. Due to unforeseen circumstances, at least from the fan standpoint, casual or not, Monday Night Raw this week starts off, and today is Thursday, May 14th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
On Monday Night Raw on May 11th, the show starts off with Becky Lynch in the ring with a Money in the Bank briefcase. She basically says that she can no longer defend the title, opens up the briefcase, and there is the WWE Women's Championship. Raw Women's Championship, that is. Asuka comes to the ring. Becky basically says, you go ahead and defend the belt. You're the champion. You go out there and be a warrior because I'm going to go be a mother. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Becky Lynch is pregnant.
Congratulations.
Nice. All right, cool.
Who are we to paw that there youngin'?
They call him a lot of things, but around here, we call him Kung Fu Tater.
I was not ready.
I'm in my zone, baby.
You got me over here with the razor blade backpack stomp going on.
You're trying to check in the game and got your shoes tied, brother.
So congratulations to
the whole situation.
Congratulations to the Monday Night Pariah, Kung Fu Panda, and Becky Lynch for the creation of Spawn. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is.
Wait a minute. Let's not put that. Don't put that evil on Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, man.
All right, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. Congratulations on the announcement of the pregnancy of the forthcoming child to be.
Thank you, Jesus, bro.
Somewhere Ronda Rousey is upset.
For a number of reasons.
Upset.
You ain't never gonna get that win back.
So that's number one. You won't get that win back. Word was.
I ain't gonna win.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey.
Yes, very good. Very good.
May that be the only time we ever play that record with unnecessarily. That's a gem. What up, Jake One?
Somebody at the house thought it was about to happen right there, and it did not happen.
Nope.
Jake, no.
What about Double or Nothing? What about it?
What about it?
Wait, that's next week. That's next week. If we only do one show next week, it's going to be with this. Teasers, boy. We already with the shit early.
That one. That's the one. That's the one we're gonna do.
It's gonna be a classic, I promise.
Yeah, man. So again, congratulations, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, on the announcement of the new child to be. I guess we'll see in about 6-7 months, probably 8.
Which brings us back to good old Asuka, who thought she was winning a contract to fight for it. But in actuality, she was not.
She got the belt. She's the champ.
The belt. Of all the times that a crowd was needed for something to go over well, this is definitely that time.
A crowd would have definitely added to this moment.
Asuka would have came out to booze. She would have got immediately cheered
with the largest pop of yay that she's ever been hit with.
Ever.
I'm not too sure she was gonna come out to booze. Asuka's over as fuck right now.
Right. The way she came out there, but once again, and I said this when all of this first started, from an analyst standpoint, it is amazing the things you hear when there's no crowd screaming at the top of their lungs. Right. Asuka came out there, and I'm sure she said several curse words in a language of Asian orientation. You know what I'm saying? Like, until she realized that she got it, and she got over there and did our celebration, and she acted like she needed to. I don't think they told Asuka she was getting the belt. Nor did anybody tell anybody that this girl was pregnant.
Somebody in WWE knew because they promoted this. Like they didn't tell them the special announcement was coming, but remember we saw online that Becky would be addressing the winner of Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
they kind of knew internally.
And I'm not totally convinced that this wasn't pre-recorded too. I'm still not under the guise that I believe that this was pre-recorded, or sorry, that it wasn't pre-recorded.
So they recorded it before they went and recorded the shots at Titan Towers?
All that.
Okay.
I mean, because even last week...
I'm 60-40.
Yeah, because even last week, I mean, AJ was still being seen wearing OC T-shirts.
AJ gonna wear that OC T-shirt as a hidden highlight until they tell him he can't wear it.
He gonna wear that bitch until it goes to the clearance rack on WWE Shop. WWEshop.com.
AJ he can absolutely not wear an OC shirt. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: if something happened, I'm wearing my BPBC shirt until people get mad at me, and then after that, I'm wearing a different shirt with BPBC on it and still repping
that part. And I will definitely say nothing's going to happen. We're going to be here forever.
Yeah.
We
got kids.
At this motherfucker. So, That's but wait, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Out of all of this, we see backstage vignettes and vignettes. Not to be confused with beignets.
They had beignets backstage.
No. But they probably did. We'll ask Paul Heyman.
Beignets backstage. Get paid.
Yeah, vignettes backstage.
Okay.
And probably about just before the third hour, we see a reaction video from one Shayna Baszler, who has given us something that we haven't seen in quite some time in the Brooklyn Pistol Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast Infused with Hip Hop. We got ourselves a body bag. So courtesy of WWE.com and also courtesy of Monday Night Raw, USA Network, I present to you Shayna Baszler.
Reaction. How stupid do you have to be to get knocked up when you're the champion? Yeah, here's a fact. 10 out of 10 mothers will try to convince you that pregnancy didn't ruin their careers. You're trying to tell me Becky Lynch becomes the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion and throws that all away just to house some miserable parasite? Imagine the man, barefoot, fat, on the couch eating bonbons. Yeah, that kid's gonna suck. You know who the father is? I rest my case.
Well,
Mr. Burgundy, the floor is yours.
Well, it seems as though we have lost all of our available fucks to give.
Isn't that the premise of a body bag?
Yes, but you typically leave the children out of it. But hey, you know what? I'm here for it.
You didn't just leave the children in it. This children is it's just children. This child is unborn.
You shot the whole car up on the way to daycare.
Wow. Not even on the way to daycare, on the way to OBGYN office.
Wow.
I mean, you got mother, father. If grandmama was opening the door, she got it too. Just
Petty Messiah.
Man. We don't call it the Samoa Joe murdering people and placing them into a sack known as the Body Bag Award for nothing. Geez, man. That was brutal. That was brutal, man. I mean, it delivered on what it was on TV. So, yeah, you won't find anything on any wrestling show that will come close to that. Jeez, man. That was callous. Somebody that don't have a top row of teeth, I definitely didn't expect her to say that. Well,
Oh, hold on.
Wow.
Boy, good shot, boy. Lord have mercy.
I'm a Shayna Baszler fan.
Shoot.
I don't like how far that went. But man, I almost wish this girl wasn't pregnant so she could come rock her real quick, that one, and they could get and shoot each other a fair one. Like, wow.
So here's the other part of it about this too, with Becky Lynch. With Ronda Rousey, didn't she allegedly leave? Well, one of the reasons why she was leaving was so that she can help.
So she can start a family.
Becky beat her again.
I said it earlier. I know Ronda Rousey is upset.
That is not okay. That's not okay.
Like, upset.
Goodness, that's not okay.
Yeah, this isn't like this is funny, but it's not ha funny at all.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. This is the thing that nobody was thinking about when they were pushing to have the revolution. Okay? Because, quite frankly, keep it real, if a male wrestler gets his girlfriend who's a wrestler pregnant and he's the champion, he doesn't have to take time off. But now that we have the revolution and the like once that happened, this is the first time we've ever had to stop and say, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, our champion."
You're right.
Is pregnant.
This is the first time it's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah.
This is history. Not so much a problem. It's just the first time we face this issue. Now we can do one or two things. We can elongate. Pause. Her reign as champion.
No.
And while she's out having the baby, everybody just kind of fights amongst themselves, and we act like the belt's not here, a la Brock Lesnar.
Nah, we not that long. No way.
Not getting the Lesnar.
That's a year. That's a year because you're not moving around until at least the baby is at least 3 months.
Not even so much that. You also have to keep into consideration. Sami Zayn, which is going to be another topic, just got stripped of the Intercontinental Championship. And then there's the Cruiserweight Championship that's going on right now because it also couldn't be defended. So
then of course you wrote my man out. You wrote the big dog out because he wanted to make sure his twins was right.
Which is a perfect segue. We've been talking for the last few weeks about where the hell is Roman. And we finally get our answer, and it's nowhere near what we thought the answer was going to be.
Nope.
It's still the same answer we thought. There's just additional stuff with it.
It's a good answer. So if you want a fourth generation batch of, and say it, what I always say it wrong, N-O-I-E. If you want fourth generation N-O-I-E children, you're going to let this man stay at the house.
And enjoy them while they're young.
Yay. That part. Because basically, the Usos are coming up yet again because this man has what? Twins. Twins.
So are they Usos?
Your investment.
Are they Usos?
Are they daughters?
No, they're twin daughters for sure. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're gonna see basically you're gonna see the second twin tag team champions since the Bellas.
I'm not willing to do anything until they mention Roman on TV again because y'all handling him kind of rough. I wouldn't send my children to work for y'all.
Honestly, to keep it real, they might be working in AEW as Dusty Rhodes Jr. is over there.
We got to think bigger. Our big Uso cousin got a plug in Hollywood. We can just walk directly over to California. We can skip the ring altogether.
Oh, we are twins. They're going to at least be on Disney, brother. Please understand.
Uso is unisex.
Is it?
Yep.
I thought it was just brother. His family?
Nope. Uso is brother or sister, depending on gender.
Did not know that. I would have stuck with Ohana before I would have said anything about Uso.
There's that.
But, they Samoan. They're not, so it is a big difference. Shout out to all my Hawaii family.
South Pacific. South Pacific Islanders. All of yous.
Nah, Hawaii. Just my actual family in Hawaii.
Oh, my bad. Look at me over here. Overachieving. Doing shit.
Hey, they pencil pushing and whatnot. We getting it.
Also coming out of Money in the Bank, though. Suave, the Bray Wyatt Braun Strowman match. I mean, it definitely wasn't the Fiend, so thank goodness for that. We had a cameo appearance at ringside by Huskus the Pig.
Can you tell the difference between them anymore?
Nah, bruh. That's what's sad.
Strike one.
So what do we do? Because this feud obviously isn't over. And it's obviously a placeholder for when Roman comes back.
Is it really a placeholder for him?
Considering he was supposed to be in the match against Goldberg at WrestleMania? I would think so. But do we just forget about that? Do we just sweep it under the rug and start anew?
Yep.
I feel like if you're gonna do anything with Roman when he gets back, you start him where he left off. You have Goldberg come in and give Roman his win.
I give zero fucks about seeing another Goldberg anything, including a documentary.
Listen to me, hear me, understand what I'm saying. I am not clamoring, nor am I campaigning for Goldberg return. I am simply asking for symmetry, synergy, and consistency in storytelling. The last time you saw Roman Reigns on television, he was doing what?
Nothing. He was basically telling Goldberg he was next.
He was the person in front of him was Goldberg. He basically walked out on the television and put himself in the main event of WrestleMania in a title match. Didn't win that spot. I'm not going to say he didn't earn it, but storyline wise, it was not the clearest path to a WrestleMania main event. So, therefore, ergo, i.e., the next time you see Roman Reigns on television, it should be to set up his match with Goldberg so you can get your air quotes dream match, and then and only then can he focus on going forward towards a championship reign.
All right, over under on time for Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Because now I'm sold on that.
Including entrances.
I'm going to hit that just for you. Just for you in this case.
I mean, like this is not going to be a segment where I try to air my personal grievances or my personal displeasure with the Goldberg character, any of that. The symmetry, the synergy, keeping shit actually in order and focused says when Roman comes back on television, he needs to pick up where he left off. Where he left off was in front of Goldberg. So you should have to beat, like I said way back when they put Strowman into this situation, that Strowman would win the title, and in order for Roman to get a title shot, he would have to go through the champion who, under normal circumstances, would require a rematch. But since they did away with the rematch clause, that doesn't really exist. But If you're going to do number one contenders on SmackDown, it's going to be those two.
So, Willie G, after Goldberg, after Roman Reigns, do we see anything from Willie G or no?
That's completely up to him and whoever wants to negotiate his next angle. Like if he does another match, you got to figure out what dream matches do you have left, or who are you trying to get, over, and then you figure that out. Because usually when Goldberg takes a loss, he has to come back and beat somebody else. So if he takes 2 losses in a row, who is he coming back to squash? And are you ever going to make The Fiend whole again by having him get that win back from Goldberg?
That's probably going to be the question of the year that does not get answered. And I don't know if it ever will get answered. Will The Fiend be made back whole again? And that's not a question.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. We can hope that he will be, but man, right now it's not looking promising at all.
I mean, I know how to do it.
Tell me.
Okay.
I'll hear this.
So, it's a contingency plan that's already right in front of us, but nobody really realizes what's happening. Bray Wyatt can lose to Braun Strowman, right? It's Bray Wyatt. It's not The Fiend. He's not dressed up as The Fiend. The Fiend is nowhere near Braun Strowman. What's happening is you've got to figure out a way to get The Fiend and Braun Strowman to fight each other. And you also have to figure out a way to reintroduce Roman Reigns, to make Roman Reigns a contender for the championship, one way or the other. 2 scenarios. 1, Braun Strowman keeps the belt, beats Bray Wyatt, but does not see or hear from The Fiend at all. The Fiend turns his attention to Otis. Otis, in his affable, loving character, decides that he, in a moment of blind fury, wants to put his money in the bank title shot on the line. And he does so against the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And in true fashion, because Otis has nothing to lose, Otis loses grandly, handily. I mean, drove into the ground, just straight up squash.
I can actually buy the losing of the championship opportunity without actually losing the championship opportunity. Yes,
yeah,
I can buy that.
He gets drove, and so the Fiend now technically has a moment to cash in at any given time, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. If the contract's on the line, definitely yes.
Contract's on the line. Fiend has a moment to cash in at any given time. Roman Reigns comes back, and he doesn't even have to fight Goldberg. I, in a shocking turn of events, will take Goldberg off the table because there's no point now. Had he still had the belt and Reigns beat him, then now Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns can fight for that belt until Kingdom Come, and no one's going to care. Because Roman Reigns is going to have the belt. There was a foregone conclusion Roman Reigns is going to win anyway. So now we just reverse the tables. Roman Reigns is what Braun Strowman was going to be. When he comes back, he says that was supposed to be my belt because that was supposed to be my title shot. Braun Strowman gets in his face and is like, well, what are you going to do about it? Blah, 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 blah. And now they fighting each other, right? That match happens. Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman, I don't care who wins. Somebody wins that match. At the end of the pay-per-view, 2 to 3 minutes left, the lights go out. The red falls across. The music hits. The Fiend cashes in. He walks out of whatever pay-per-view this is as the champion.
All right, raise the ante. Raise the ante. Pick the pay-per-view.
What's next? Backlash?
What is the next?
Yeah, Backlash is next.
Oh,
Backlash is the next pay-per-view.
Here's a bit of nostalgia for you. Take a wild guess. Let's say here's a bit of nostalgia for you on the pay-per-view front. This is complete sidebar. Take a wild guess what returns in June.
You got me.
NXT TakeOver in your house.
Oh, in your house. we do not need in your house right now. But I like that they're doing that, and here's why. As people are being given the opportunity to come back into the arenas, people are going to be gun shy. So you can't have tens of thousands of people in one spot and everybody comfortable. Plus, you got to keep everybody spaced out. So in your house, being a house show, they can do that. You see what I'm saying?
In your house always looked bigger than what it was because they use smaller venues. Yep. So if you have, like, we say, for instance, we'll say like an AEW size venue, which is typically about anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000, and you space people out with like a seat in between, like basically have half the arena full. You only sell half the seats, and you space them out every other seat. That could turn into something that sounds amazing while everyone understands, because we've been dealing with crowdless shows for 2 months now.
Oh, honestly, if you put 300 people in what was a crowded arena, if you put 300 people in the performance center, it's going to look like something's going down. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
That's 300. If you put 300 people at AEW, it's going to look like something's going down for real.
I mean, hell, the damn NWA Power, it has, 250 people, maybe 500, and that shit sounds like 1,000 people on some shows.
Here's what's funny about it. Wrestling is now about to go through what it went through in the early 90s. Basically, we going back to Shotgun Saturday Night. Like, because we have
stuck on Shotgun Saturday Night, ain't you?
I love Shotgun Saturday Night. We going to Sunday Night Heat. You know what I'm saying? On MTV. That's what we're going to do.
Wow. From the WWE restaurant in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah. It's from the restaurant of all things. Like, here's the reason why this is a cool concept for them to go back in your house. One, we see you. That's the first thing we need to say.
Yeah. That's you're looking at.
We see you. I'm looking dead at you. I'm looking right in your face. You know, like two, it is the best thing to do when you don't have the capability to put on these large shows. By and large, the industry has gotten spoiled by being able to just cram people in there and not bring quality product. In your house with the NXT game, yeah, that's a good concept. Yeah. I would watch NXT fight an in your house style show. I'd watch NXT fight an NWA style show. I don't see why not. It just makes sense.
I mean, technically, the '96 King of the Ring was an in your house style show.
It really was. Honestly, to tell you the truth, though, the whole thing about having that whole crane and crow's nest up at the side of I don't think they should lose that. I'm going to keep it real with you. If they're going to keep running out of Performance Center, they shouldn't lose that, and they should be interviewing people. I mean, y'all act like y'all didn't have Mean Gene employed for y'all for a long time. I don't understand why we not interviewing people up there. Why we not doing picture-in-picture. There's so many tricks that you can do to make these shows feel more full than just having people come out there and do this.
I think once Triple H nestles into his quote-unquote new role, that we'll probably get a lot more of those older elements simply because the new regime is getting stale, whomever that may be, and the old regime is already stale. And the only person that could bring old ideas back to make them look fresh again would be Triple H and possibly Shawn Michaels, in my opinion.
I mean, both of them are doing in your house. If I'm not mistaken, they were on NXT last night.
Well, let's be clear. If they're doing the in your house, so is Road Dogg.
Well then, yeah.
So
I'm not against any of that. I think this is a great idea for the WWE to capitalize on if they do it the right way. Now, to bring it full circle, we were talking about how to get heat back on Bray Wyatt. And I mean, skyrocket heat. Bray Wyatt needs to be, the Fiend needs to be the person with the belt. I didn't think he needed it beforehand, but that's the only thing that's going to make him. And he needs to literally be the undefeated monster that he was slated to be up front. And I'm talking neck cranks, picking people up with one hand and choke slamming them. Let him beat Taker. Honestly, feed him Taker. And at this point, you're going to have to do something. And I mean, not weak, stumbling around, what was it? American Granddad Taker? No, I don't want him.
Wow.
Feed him Taker.
So, Suave, did you get a chance to check out the Undertaker Last Ride documentary yet?
I did. I enjoyed it very much. Feel like they put it out once before, took it down, added more stuff to it, repackaged it, and now it's a much more complete idea.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think what happened was what we saw for the first show was like you said, it was something we've seen pieces of before. But I think the Michael Jordan documentary, the Bulls, what's it called on ESPN?
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance. I think The Last Dance had a lot to do with them getting as much footage as they could from 3 years ago up to this point. From the time he said, "Go ahead and turn on the cameras," to this point, simply because they know that they have something that's worthy of getting that much attention in their own house in Undertaker.
I mean, other than possibly a Ric Flair full career retrospective documentary or a Good Try Terry, yeah, The Undertaker is as close to Jordan as you're going to get for WWE wrestling wise. So I get it. I liked it. I don't have any problem with it. It's a very real look. I wish they would go back and kind of chronicle. I wish they would do a Last Dance style documentary with his entire career, go through his title reigns, and just kind of walk backwards.
Hell, go back to Texas Red. I was initially talking about the entire Undertaker career, but if now you're calling him Mark Calloway, shit, take it back to world class. Go to the humble beginning. Show all that shit. Like if you go, like you can literally do a decade by decade by decade by decade synopsis of the Undertaker's career, and if you pull that off right, Like, you literally have 4 seasons of content. From World Class to WCW to WWF. Even throwing the sprinkle in the shit about him going to AEW for the what's the podcast shit? Starcast. Yep.
Yeah.
Even sprinkle that shit in there.
Number one, they're not going to do that because there's too much other shit that came with it. 2, they're gonna cram all of his shit pre WWF into one episode.
Well, because
for them, the intellectual property lives and dies with the Undertaker. Everything that happened before that is important to people like us who like history and dig in the crates. But the people at Titan Tower don't give a fuck about that.
No.
Very true.
They care about everything that's homegrown.
I mean,
they're concerned. Mark Calloway was in WWE for life.
That's evident. That's evident by, not completely unrelated, the post that you told me about Instagram where, what do you see in relationship to the big gold belt? Like, who's the first person you think of? And you thought Great Muta. And we know, everybody knows it's Flair's belt. If you know nothing else, you know that's Flair's belt.
Flair.
So
I didn't even know Great Muta had it, but that was a dope picture of Great Muta though.
Well, no, it's super.
That was more so the reasoning.
Yeah, that picture was dope as shit. But so, Petty, who do you think of when you see that big gold belt?
I do think of Flair, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Flair's the obvious answer.
Yeah, that's not a wrong answer. I'm gonna tell you the first person I think of when I see that big gold belt. Ron Garvin. Reason being, for an entire, it might have been 2 weekends on WCW, or it was just World Championship Wrestling at the time, but then also on like NWA Pro Wrestling and then NWA Worldwide, for almost 2 weekends, that entire show was Flair versus Ron Garvin. I believe the first match was in St. Louis, where Garvin won with the sunset flip off the top rope inside the steel cage. And then the rematch was almost a month later in Detroit, where Flair got the belt back. But you saw an entire month of Ron Garvin carrying that belt with no title defense, talking the talk. You know how Flair used to talk. All he used to do is talk and big up the belt and how much the belt means and yada, yada, yada. And then the next time you saw him wrestle for the belt was when Flair got it off of him. But the entire show, those shows were 1 hour shows, and all you saw was just that match for the entire show.
Take Flair out of the situation, because Flair is like Swab said, that's an obvious answer. I will say Booker T.
Great answer.
That is Booker. I mean,
I'm even give you that for it.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the last man holding them up.
In WCW, yes, you're correct. He held the World Heavyweight Championship and the U.S. Championship.
So when he came to the WWF, then, if I'm not mistaken, he had it.
Right. Well,
he had that belt.
He did, because the first match he had on on Monday Night Raw during the WCW, I guess half hour that they had or hour that they had, was against Buff Bagwell, which caused Buff Bagwell to never wrestle again.
Oh yeah, Buff's trash. So
Buff's a whore. Buff's a he-whore.
Grown dwarf.
Buff's a he-whore right now.
Yeah, he's out here selling it.
So, but no, I mean, Booker T is not so much synonymous, but he has associated heavily with the big gold belt. And then after that, I would go Batista, because one of the things I remember is when Batista won that month. Holding on to it.
Well, of the modern era, I would say more synonymous with Triple H, because he was handed the belt from fucking Eric Bischoff.
Nah. The war did him and because didn't him and Batista fight over that belt?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, him and Batista fought over that belt. He tried to kill Triple H, man.
Did we ever save the Fiend, or is he still on life support?
No, the Fiend has already been saved. The Fiend pretty much wins the Money in the Bank from Otis, and cashes in at the end of the Roman Reigns Braun Strowman match at a pay-per-view. in the last 2 to 3 minutes. And then he keeps the belt undeniably pretty much until somebody can stop him. And he goes on a tear. I'm talking everybody they put in front of him. What I'm talking saying, neck cranks, power bombs off the top of stuff, throwing people through tables, just really giving it to people. Unstoppable. And you feed him Taker. You have to feed him Taker for this to work.
That feels like Scotch tape on a stab wound.
When
I mean, you got to do it
when do you feed? After watching this documentary, I'm scared for Taker. When do you feed Bray Taker or Fiend Taker?
When Taker is really ready to hang that thing up.
Survivor.
And Taker's technically, there you go. It has to be in front of a crowd. And I'm not talking in your house side. I mean, like, we back full chugging. We on the road. It's a hot crowd. Ain't nobody just looking around, halfway clapping. I mean, people right next to each other spilling beer on each other's shoes. That type of crowd. And you send
party foul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need that. People selling popcorn. You need that energy, and you let that boy come out there and work.
I think it's going to be a while before we see that kind of crowd again. Truth be told, but and our time is limited. So, what's the quickest? Do you want to wait as long as you can before you can try to get that?
What time is limited?
Huh?
What time is limited?
The time for Undertaker.
Oh, well, Undertaker's going to retire within the next year.
I'm not ready to believe that shit either. Like the whole thing with the Boneyard situation gave him legs to where he doesn't have to work full matches.
Pun intended.
That part. And then the last time you saw him work a match before this Boneyard match was what? Extreme Rules last year when he teamed with Roman Reigns?
No, it was the
Nah, he fought the OC, didn't he?
No. The last time we saw Taker in a match was in Saudi against Goldberg.
He wrestled after that.
Oh, okay.
When he teamed with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, I forgot about Extreme Rules. You're absolutely right.
Hit the bell for my stats.
My bad. Loaded. There you go.
Thank you, sir. I'm just I like the idea of Fiend having the Money in the Bank. Actually, you know what? I would have liked the Money in the Bank pay-per-view more had we got to the very end, the lights gone out on the roof. Yeah. Right. If the lights went off on the roof and then when they come on, he's holding Money in the Bank a la Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Yes.
Like just a guy who wasn't even in the match comes in, steals the briefcase. I'm completely fine with that because his character is perfectly set up to actually hold Money in the Bank.
Let me book it for you differently. This is a cinematic style match, right?
Right.
Fiend systematically takes everybody out every couple of floors. So somebody gets, and I mean murked, thrown off of something, thrown through something, pulled through something. I'm talking random stuff. You see people doing their thing and just somebody just gets murked for no apparent reason. We don't know what just happened to Aleister Black. What's happening here? And when they get to the top for the men, it's just Fiend. You're sitting on top of the ladder.
I would totally be for that. I don't have the faith in WWE to pull that off the way you explained it.
Yeah.
And they're gonna spoil the fact that the Fiend is involved in the match to begin with.
It takes real chutzpah to pull it off. You have to have good writers. You said what?
I actually think they're pretty much done. I understand what's going on with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt / The Fiend. I see what they're trying to get to. I just don't feel like The Fiend is a salvageable character anymore. I don't see what they do to get back to where they were, and I don't see what they do to improve what they've already done.
I'm with you. I really don't think I have zero faith in WWE creative to any degree to revive the Fiend. In fact, I dare say, and I hate to say this because I really want Wyndham Rotunda to win. just let his contract expire and let him go somewhere else so he can be the creative that he's born to be. He's still young enough where he has enough legs and come back. But
check this out. Check this out. Asuka is the most over she's ever been in WWE. She's been speaking Japanese for the last 2 months. She hasn't spoken a word of WWE creative, and she's more over now than she was when she debuted on the main roster. That is a flat ass indictment of WWE current creative. She's not speaking English.
Well, she spoke more English on Monday Night Raw than she has in the last 2 years.
That's kayfabe English. She was happy for Becky. I mean, in wrestling terms. It's like her speaking kayfabe English to Becky, that's like, hey, that's my homegirl off camera. The whole thing that's gotten her over the last 6, 8, 12, 15 weeks has been her having Japanese outbursts.
Screaming in Japanese and spitting orange, green mist in people's face.
Japanese, she has Japanese Tourette's.
Yep.
Japanese Tourette's.
Like a drunk old Japanese man that works at your favorite restaurant. Like
that part.
I love it. Like I have no problem with it. So here's my thing to add to this. When we talk about creative, one thing that's being exposed is that creative relies on the pop of the crowd. They rely on crowd reaction. They write for crowd reaction. With no crowd, they don't know how to connect with an audience that doesn't exist. So a lot of the stuff you see is stuff that they were hoping that the crowd will tell you what to do.
You know what's crazy about this statement? As true as it is, I'm going to have to disagree with you respectfully. Let me give you a proper case in point. WrestleMania had some matches that went off better without a crowd than they would have with a crowd. Case in point, and I'll tell you a prime example of that. Lucha House Party. If there anybody who is over without a crowd right now, it's them. And it's sad because they're putting up the same work they have been, but the fact that they don't have a crowd gives them a little bit more validity because with the crowd, no one's interested in them.
Oh, God.
You see WWE ever shine a light on them?
What's that?
Like, do you see WWE ever shine a light on them like they're supposed to be taken seriously?
Nope. Never.
They come out
difference.
Sure. Like they come out and they come out as characters. They're cartoon fodder for people to squash.
And their character wasn't designed to be over.
No. You're the Brooklyn Brawler with a mask on.
Hell, it might be the Brooklyn Brawler.
Now you let them work without a net, and all of a sudden, these guys are really good. They play well on camera. So it's no. Some people are just not earmarked to be in the spot that they probably are worthy of.
True. And then they go to somewhere like AEW or ROH or New Japan, and they go balls to the wall. Hey, look, because honestly, speaking of that, the OC is going to New Japan or going back to New Japan. You see what I'm saying?
They'll probably, and I hope for them that they do and actually can help get New Japan back on in the States, but they'll probably retire New Japan.
I think.
I don't see any reason. They said themselves online in the past 2 weeks that they felt like 9 months ago they made the wrong decision. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again,
it was just hard to turn down $500,000.
Like I wouldn't.
The first episode the first episode we have past July 14th should tell us everything we need to know about a lot of people and what money's looking like around the wrestling world.
Oh yeah.
If any one of us got offered $500,000 to stay at the situation that we're at, regardless of how happy we are or are not, you would take that money because in theory it's guaranteed. Now a couple of months later you happen to find out, oh shit, not quite, cutting me loose. Like, but you would take that money.
You would. I mean, it's a lot of reasons why you want to take what looks secure. You're gonna do it. You know what I mean? You can't be an idiot all your life like some people. Alberto Del Rio. We talking about you, fam.
Yeah, you next, fam. That's a good point too because Mike Kanellis and God damn it, Mike Bennett and Maria Bennett, they did the same thing. They re-signed because they were expecting something different. They was something. It was a guarantee.
They got kids.
It was a guarantee.
They showed them more money than they could possibly negotiate elsewhere. So you take that money and wait for something else to happen.
You take that. I don't care if you got to sit and get. A lot of people get mad about people having to sit in catering. Here's the kicker: if all I got to do is just show up and I'm getting paid, like this is the 50-50 of what Mox was saying while he was Dean Ambrose. That's the 50-50 of it. Technically, they could have shelved Ambrose and have him sitting back in the back and catering, but they had hyped him up
for 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm. And he would have just been driving Renee to work. You see what I'm saying?
That's something to think about. For 6 to 9 months, that was an option for the E.
That was an option. They could have, and he would have literally, and I'm not joking when I say that, he literally would have just been driving Renee to work. And he'd have got to work, gave her a kiss, and when he sat in catering, he kicked his feet up. Because he does not strike me as the type that wouldn't have kicked his feet up and put his hand in the chocolate cake.
Now that's where I disagree. If Mox / Ambrose is anywhere on the premises, he's not one of those people that's going to be sitting and catering. They're going to use his ass and they're going to put everybody over until it's time for him to leave, like they did. Now, Mike Kanellis, an undersized guy that they don't really have anything for, yeah, they'll leave you in catering. Heath Slater, yeah, they'll leave you in catering. Yeah, it's just different.
Teetering cruiserweights. Teetering cruiserweights we've seen them go, with the exception of Cedric Alexander and Rey Mysterio, only because Rey is going back and forth between that and heavyweight probably for only the second time in his career. But teetering cruiserweights typically have no home in the E. No, and shit. Buddy Murphy's another example. I think he's teetering too.
Buddy Murphy is on that thin line. As dope as he is, here's the problem: we can't let nobody go. We can't let nobody that we really, really need go. Because we don't really need Rusev. He got over with Rusev. They think we're not going to give him a belt no time soon.
I cannot wait till July to see what happens with that man. Like I
feel like Rusev is going to end up making his Twitch channel amazing and probably not wrestling.
I hope that would be the case. I think he's still got some appearances left in him. Like even if he just shows up from time to time on different programming. Just a pop. Moving right along. We mentioned Alberto Del Rio, and wish we had better news, but unfortunately we don't. But there's news nonetheless, so we must report it. Former WWE champion. Oh, this is from Essentially Sports, by the way. Former WWE champion Alberto Del Rio, also known as Alberto El Patron, has yet become part of a scandal. The 42-year-old veteran has been accused of sexual assault by a woman in Texas. The woman came forward with photographs that allegedly showed Alberto sexually molesting her. Affidavit gave graphic detail of his actions. As per documents of the court, the woman claims that she was assaulted multiple times by Alberto. It highlights that the most recent incident took place on May 3rd. As per reports in San Antonio, our News for San Antonio, Alberto accused the woman of being unfaithful to him. He got angry and that she did not admit to the accusations. Investigators also said that she was slapped across her head and then was taken downstairs by him. He then proceeded to slap her 8 more times in the bedroom. Alberto then made her put on a dress and dance for him, but she refused. This prompted Alberto to give her a warning not to cry or he will take her son and, quote, drop him off in the middle of the road somewhere. Police said that Jose, real name, then proceeded to tie the woman's hands with boxing straps and put a sock in her mouth. He assaulted her for hours with various objects after this. The investigator stated he punched her in the back, which caused visible injuries. The victim did not remember much after he put his hands around her throat, according to what she told the detectives. Jose was charged with sexual assault, a second-degree felony. Bond was set at $50,000, which he paid around 3:30 a.m. and was released after that on Sunday morning. Gentlemen.
There's not much you can say with that.
That's pretty self-explanatory, man.
I will say this. I hope that it's not true. But when it's a love interest of someone and that person is in public light, you would hope that they would have enough good sense to not do something this heinous. And as a father of multiple daughters myself, if this is true, cancel Christmas, cuz your career is done. This will go next to the unmentioned.
I mean, wasn't something like this part of the problem with Paige?
I'm not
putting anything on him. I'm just that's a question. Like, didn't something kind of in this guise happen when he was dating Paige? Like, when he
felt like this isn't the first time we've heard something to that degree. Maybe not this much graphic detail, but certainly it was alluded to.
It was alluded to from third-party sources. When Paige and he were approaching...
No knock to Paige. I mean, when you in an abusive... allegedly, when you're in an abusive relationship, I know it might be kind of hard to break away. You did...
Yeah, and now that's what I was going to say. Even though Paige was with him in a couple of interviews that I heard, where she refuted the claims of or the questions of the accusations as far as the extent of what happened, and just passed it off as a lover's quarrel. But in an abusive relationship, that's what you have. That's what usually happens.
And I hope that wasn't the case. But I mean, it's too. The line ain't that far off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, fam. Every time something come up with you and a love interest, it's never good.
Right.
Like, it's never good. It's never good, man. Come on, fam.
At least the last two times it was made public.
They make special bullets for people like you.
Well, actually 3, because he was married when he and Paige were dating.
Come on,
they make special bullets for people like you.
In the industry, ain't it?
What's that, Petty?
I said that's fairly normal in the industry. I mean,
because you're around
stepping out on him.
You're around performers a lot more than you're around your spouse, unless that spouse is also a performer with you in the same organization. You're absolutely right.
I mean,
look at Jeff Jarrett and Karen.
We love Wyndham. We love him.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying?
John Cena.
That's personal though.
I mean,
man, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not a knock. I understand. I totally understand, but it doesn't. You would think on the surface, you would think that people deserve a little bit more than that, based on vows and whatnot. But and that's a completely different conversation.
You hope for decorum, and they don't have a fraternization rule with the E. You just don't let it mess up being on TV.
Truth be told, you can't have that. You can't have that rule anywhere where you're getting paid on a 1099. That's none of your fucking business.
Then there's that.
If I did someone every day and I'm not part of the actual company payroll, and I'm being paid as if I'm the talent, like I'm the business, there's absolutely nothing you can say to me other than keep your hands off the company property. Don't stick your pins in the company ink.
All the more reason we need to end this contractor shit and start making these people employees.
Yeah, drop the salary, give them benefits. I guarantee you, the insurance company will see this through.
That's it. If you turn these people into full-fledged employees, we'll be fine. That's it. You turn them into employees instead of independent contractors. We can nip a lot of the shit in the bud.
Right. You can put all sorts of guidelines in the contracts that you draw up for your employees on a yearly basis.
Laws, bylaws, wellness, all these things will be, man.
Not just HR can look like an NFL playbook.
Right. What you see here is if you did this, then you would immediately be terminated. But if you do this, we're only going to write you up.
Then you're going to have people start getting fired for sending text messages.
Lewd and lascivious.
That part. Yes, let's get into some real corporate shit. We can handle this like a gentleman, but we can get into some corporate shit.
So you're fired. We don't have to do this because this is an at-will company.
The sad part though, that as it sits right this second, it will never happen simply because once you become an employee, then you can unionize.
Ah, man, it should be a union in the first place. The NFL has a union.
You have plenty of time now to unionize.
The NBA has a union.
And even crazier than that,
entertainment.
Those who have been unionized appreciate the union. Those who've never been unionized or don't support unions don't like the idea or the advent thereof. I myself am a union contracted employee. And I have been for the better part of my corporate career, even going back to me being in high school. I side with unions.
I'm just saying, GM has a union,
and they make damn good vehicles.
Okay,
might not be the damnedest example right now, but yes.
But in good times, GM has a union.
Let's move on. Speaking of corporate, let's go to the top of the corporate ladder here. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, he made an appearance on Money in the Bank.
Vincent Community McMahon?
Wow. I said Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clear that up.
Clarify that, fam. While he's teaching us how to properly put on hand sanitizer. Hold on. The Money in the Bank match was nothing more than than irony for social distancing and teach people how to do two things: wash your hands and use hand sanitizer. There's no way we should see Brother Love coming out of a urinal.
I could have done without that. I could have done without Doink with a fucking collar shirt on.
Come on, man. Rest in peace, Maniac Matt Bourne. That was not no damn Doink. I don't know what the hell they thought that was. That didn't even look like Doink. When you have a clown that's like the shit, and then you come back and see him like 10 years later, like, what the fuck happened to you? That was the clown that we saw.
He's been meal prepping and doing keto.
That part. Who was that? The dog wonder clown? Is that who that was?
That would have been a good spot for the Fiend though, or one of the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse. That would have added.
If I rambling rabbit fighting my allergies with both my hands, I was trying to say that so bad. Yes, that is exactly where I would have slid Fiend. He'd have popped up in random places that he didn't belong, snatching people's lives away from them until there was nobody left but him.
Remember when Fiend was being teased, and you see the puppets randomly placed backstage, like on some Where's Waldo shit? Tish, shouts out to Tish Burgundy. She was a master of finding where the puppets were in the shows. We couldn't find them shits for nothing. She was the fucking goat at finding puppets on these shows. Man, that could have been Fiend. When they broke that mirror in the weight room, Fiend could have been waiting right behind that wall.
I don't understand why you have all this cinematic stuff at your disposal, this huge budget that you can use, and you're not using it for the character that could use it the most.
I agree with you on that.
Like, it just, like, why? Like, fucking why? I don't even understand if you weren't going to crown Bray Wyatt / The Fiend again, why you jumped directly into a program with the Universal Champion following Firefly Funhouse. Good, bad, or indifferent.
People that we could have fed to him.
Well, then there's that.
There's that.
You shouldn't fire the people you could have fed to him. Like, you could have had him beat 6 or 7 people, and it's like, as soon as you leave, here's your walking papers.
You know what I'm saying?
Line forms in the front. Everybody's going to get a bonus on your way out, but you're doing jobs to the Fiend.
Who's first?
73 of us here.
Oh, that means you're first.
Dang it.
I just don't understand the stupidity that goes into this. It's like having him become champion again after all the stupid shit you did to take the belt off of him, then take him out of the WrestleMania main event that led him to Firefly Funhouse that some people love, some people hate. than to go back around. Like, for what? Why? Who came up with this?
Like the right idea at the time.
This is an acid trip.
A bad one. A terrible one.
Trip. Wait, what
this
did I
is
say last
booking
time?
on
None
acid.
of this is real. This is just, look, we got people that work for us. We pulling names out of a hat, and that's who's fighting each other. We don't care. Y'all not here no way.
I swear to God.
The first time.
I swear to everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I swear to everything sweet. So I swear to everything sweet and holy. When I saw Otis catch that briefcase, I immediately thought of Petty saying, "None of this is real."
The first time I read that text message, I literally, for about a 1/10 of a second, was genuinely like, you know what? Fuck Petty Messiah. He's never getting on the Broken Pistol Book Company again. I had to think about it. Not real as in the F word. Not real as in alternate reality. And I had to register that shit like, you're absolutely right. None of this shit right now. We're in the damn snow globe material. We're in the fucking snow globe.
Look, this is just what we got until we can hire back some people and get people to sit in crowds and pay for t-shirts live. We just, look, man, just take what we got, fam. I'm sorry. We can't shut down because we got deals with people. We got to put a show on. It's not the show that we initially had picked out.
And with me as a fully competent, grown-up adult male, I can say that this is fucking trash. This is absolutely terrible.
An adult male, an adult grown-ass male father who's married as a homeowner who watches professional wrestling every Monday and Friday.
I can absolutely say.
I'm sorry, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
But Petty's absolutely correct. He was right again about WWE logic. None of this shit is real. None of it.
What if when we get a live crowd back, we actually realize we're in a fucking dream? Vince wakes up and hands over the pencil.
Ain't no dope that strong. But somebody needs to stick that foot on Q-tip and Vince's nose because he's not looking too good.
This is what this is. None of this is real. Okay? Look, Otis is a Money in the Bank champion. At best, Otis is an enhancement talent that might get over. He's like Rikishi and Grandmaster Sexay mixed in the one.
I read an article, and it's funny that you mentioned them. I read an article that said something about the whole reason why Otis is in the position that he's in right now is when they try to bring him over, when they try to bring him on, Gerald Briscoe asked him, "Can you dance?" The answer to that question is what got us to where we are right now. Meanwhile,
he's Chris Farley reincarnated as a professional wrestler.
But where the fuck is Tucker Knight?
He's Chris Farley, and he's stuck in
on his way to catering
dancer sketch. Like and it's not that those can't wrestle. That's the funny thing.
But Tucker can wrestle too. Tucker's already forgotten about.
They're both collegiate wrestlers, but
yeah. Now, Tucker was inconsequential. He was never supposed to get over.
Like, both of them are collegiate level wrestlers and very good at it. But the fact that Otis literally is Chris Farley reincarnated makes him head and shoulders above Tucker in terms of entertainment value.
You know who Tucker is? You ready?
David Spade.
He's country Sylvester Takai.
No. I'll do you one.
Okay,
he's Jesse.
We can end this call now.
He's Jesse.
Yeah, there you go.
Who?
In Jesse and Festus.
No.
Yeah, we can really end the call now. Hang up. Hang this shit up. Roll the credits. Cut this shit off.
Swab, take us to the house.
Pencil pushers.
Y'all thought we was done. Fuck out of here, man.
Don't cut this shit off, bro. You're doing too much. Don't cut this shit off.
All I'm saying is he's inconsequential. Yeah,
I sat by for all that other shit. You gotta cut this off. I'm putting my foot down. You ain't gonna fuck over me on no Thursday. Cut this shit off.
I'm gonna give you to the streets.
We gotta put conversations on hold to re-up because we ain't paying for extra time. So every 40 minutes we gotta check out. Meanwhile, Suave is cutting this one all the way short the halfway mark because we done said some foul shit. My bad, Playboy.
This motherfucking party foul. Cut this shit up. Pick up that amplifier for somebody get shot.
Fresh, get the turntables. We'll get on the key. Cash Money Records.
Yeah. Pack this shit up. Let's go. You can finish your funnel cake in the car.
Burning the color purple. Time to go.
Oh, bro.
Oh man, I'm hurting. I laughed myself into a 6-pack.
Y'all gonna turn Tucker in.
Look, basically, Tucker is Marty Jannetty. Okay,
Tucker is Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Emphasis on dumpster. What?
I don't want him to be a king. I want so much more for him. Get him a tracksuit. Where is wait, did they let him go? Yeah, they already let him go.
Oh man.
Tracksuit. Somebody go call Elijah Burke.
Oh man. Nah, hey, Pope doing big things, man. Pope might make his way into being a GOAT manager before this is all said and done.
Pope should have never not been a manager. I don't know why they tried. They was like, yeah, Elijah Burke, he going fold upside your head, like.
Yeah. The black Pope out here on Twitter recruiting.
He the Black Pope. The fact that he put himself as the Black Pope got me. I was like, all right, cool. All right.
But you didn't have to put yourself as being the Black Pope because everybody know you black. You like 4 minutes away from midnight.
That's unnecessary.
Oh wow.
Really, hey man, me and him the same color, man.
Good Lord, that's just
you gonna leave R-Truth Jr. alone? Okay, I'm not gonna let you talk about him like that.
Didn't I say pack this shit up and let's go?
We have gone off the rails, sir. I'm not gonna let you disrespect that man.
Apparently, Suave is on self mute for the rest of the damn show. So it's me and you, Patty Messiah.
No, I'm not. No, I told you already. This shit is completely unnecessary and uncalled for. Now you done got out here. You done got out here in traffic, and you're holding up the flow. You're holding up the flow of traffic. You got cars blocked going both ways.
Hey, we'll hold off on the Undertaker talk until next week so we can go through the first 2 episodes of the Last Ride documentary. Let's get out of here. We on a roll. Let's do these quick hits, man, and go out here before we decide we want to kill more brain cells by laughing ourselves into fucking chaos here.
Oblivion.
This shit gonna get hilarious in a minute.
WWE Hall of Famer and wrestling god Sting out of WWE.
Gone.
Countdown to appearance on AEW.
Countdown to TNT. Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Jake the Snake Roberts is a saved man, and he's on AEW.
Yeah,
but AEW is not providing a PG product at all.
You can't tell Jake Roberts is saved by these promos he cutting.
Jake Roberts is acting. I'm not saying that to justify anything. I have to think that that's his mind state.
Acting like himself.
Yeah.
This is WCW Jake Roberts. This is first WWF run Jake Roberts. This is Mid-South Jake Roberts. This is Georgia Championship Wrestling Jake Roberts.
This is beyond the match.
Cape Fear, Tommy Lee Jones, Jake Roberts that we used to. What? Nah.
So have you not seen Dynamite? A couple of weeks ago, he brought out Damien 2020 on a knocked out Brandy Rose and then straddled her while she was laid prone in the ring.
Just last night, he cut a promo saying women are better off at home, in the kitchen, washing and cleaning, and occasionally when it's cold enough outside to keep me warm.
Old man Logan, Jake Roberts? Is that who we're dealing with?
That is Jake Roberts from Beyond the Mat. Pre-DDP yoga, Jake Roberts.
Yeah, but sober. But pre-DDP yoga, Jake Roberts.
Are we
sure?
We're not 100% sure. We would hope, but I'm definitely not alleging that he would be. But man, whatever it is, like
so
if that's the
that,
I know what he's on. I know what he's on. Suave. He's on Blue Bottles. I know what he's on.
What I will say is whatever he's on, keep giving it to him because it's making for interesting television.
Listen, I want 2 of those on Monday delivered to me in a special package, not touching the ground.
Jesus.
There you go. So Sting is out. Like he's not go sit down, we fired you out. He is I don't have a
no longer signed with WWE. That includes a Legends contract.
He is. I'll be there next week. Rick Rude out.
That would not be a bad move for Double or Nothing.
And Crow Sting. That's how you get past all of the fact that they don't do a PG product. Crow Sting. He doesn't have to say a word. He just has to show up.
Speaking of Double or Nothing.
Next to Matt Hardy.
Speaking of Double or Nothing. Next week, next Saturday when we have AEW Double or Nothing 2, crowning the TNT champion, the inaugural TNT champion, we have the baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson, presenting the TNT championship belt for the winner of Cody Rhodes versus Lance Archer.
Incredibly intelligent move on AEW's part.
Yep. Especially with him.
Mike Tyson is currently all the rage.
Again.
Right.
Mike Tyson has reinvented himself probably 5 times in the last 15 years, and he keeps getting lovable with each reincarnation of himself.
I don't want a lovable killer walking around smiling at people before he kills them.
But if there were one, his name would be Michael Tyson.
How high will he be at this pay-per-view?
Giraffe ass.
Outer space.
I vote for giraffe throat, but
we're off the rails.
Hey, there are no wrong answers, so therefore.
Or my favorite answer, eagle danger high.
Jupiter. There you
go. We'll come back for next week for Dark Side of the Ring, for Double or Nothing updates as it relates to for You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win. Sami Zayn stripped of the Intercontinental Championship, fellas.
I'm sad.
Trash.
I don't like this at all.
The great debater worked too hard for this.
We will be on Friday Night SmackDown watching this to see how this goes. I don't know if they're going to.
No, we won't. Don't lie to these people.
Wow.
I ain't watched SmackDown in 4 weeks.
I watch it on accident, and actually SmackDown is still more entertaining than Raw.
On Friday night.
Nope. Won't do it.
I'm not going to do that when the Blacklist has an animated special coming on tomorrow night. I'm just not going to do it.
Enes Kanter.
Until you speak Roman Reigns' name on SmackDown, I refuse to watch.
Enes Kanter has allegedly been offered a WWE contract.
Who?
So?
NBA center Enes Kanter.
So? Karl Malone?
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is the biggest fucking what? And then you do this, like this news comes out. I don't know when this was offered, but and this, of course, is all alleged. A month after Black Wednesday? The blackest Wednesday ever?
Doesn't have a job, but Enes Kanter has a job?
Job offer.
So
as soon as he retires from the
have
NBA,
a job,
he's going to walk to the PC.
but Enes Kanter has a job offer?
I see.
Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, the Major Brothers, they don't have a job. Oh, man. Y'all can keep that. I don't care about Enes Kanter.
And lastly, we did say Dark Side of the Ring. We can't go with this episode without talking about Dark Side of the Ring. This one was a gem. The last ride of the Road Warriors. Narrated by Chris Jericho with lots of commentary from Barry, a.k.a. Crusher Darso, a.k.a. Smash a Demolition, a.k.a. the Repo Man, and also Road Warrior Animal and Paul Ellering. fellas.
Hawk was toxic.
Yeah.
That's a great takeaway. That's a
Hawk was Hawk was fucking toxic.
Judge Laurinaitis' brother is just like, hey, you know, it is what it is.
Like at the end, and this will be the tie-in to reality, to television that we all know and love and watch. Like Animal and Hawk had a real Molly and Issa type situation going on.
Fam.
It's very Molly and Issa.
Good segue.
Can we talk about that real quick? Can we add that in? Oh, so before we go there, it was great to see Hawk's brothers on there. I'm surprised that we didn't get anything from Johnny Ace, because Johnny Ace is Animal's brother. And it might have been because he's a current WWE executive why we did not see him on there.
That's why.
Okay, but it was and then Paul Ellering, it was good to see him on there too. That episode could have easily been a few hours long, because we knew on the Dino Bravo episode we saw Road Warrior Hawk and LOD in the Canada territories up in like Quebec, and I guess they set up in Vancouver as well. And Hawk had he said he looked like a village person, where he had like the leather chaps and the leather vest, and he had a full head of blonde bleach blonded hair. That's another one. There's so many elements like this one I want to see directors cut on, because they even like what was that Survivor Series 90? Was it 93, 92 when they went in Wembley Stadium?
So SummerSlam 92.
SummerSlam 92. Wembley Stadium. The Road Warriors were supposed to be in the semi-main against, was it Demolition they were going against, supposedly? And they ended up getting bumped up the card bumped down the card, rather, to like the second match out against IRS or Money Incorporated, rather. Simply because Hawk was out of it. He was in the ring, not in the ring.
And I never noticed it. As many times as I've kind of scanned that pay-per-view, that's one of those, like, it seems like no matter how many times I watch it, I don't have a memory of it, other than like the end with Bret Hart and the British Bulldog, and even that I don't remember much of it. But for whatever reason, I never noticed that Hawk was completely high.
They did.
I remember Animal burned his leg getting off the motorcycle.
I remember that. Yes.
Like he singed his boot, and it's like his boot and tight was burned to his leg or some shit. I guess looking for that, I never noticed that Hawk was blitzed out of his mind.
Yeah,
Blitzkrieg.
Man, that was a really good episode, man. I'm looking forward to the last one.
The inside of Hawk's brain looks like a fucking Glacier preview.
Wow.
Glacier.
Yeah, man. He was froze. He was froze, man. He was froze. Next week's episode is going to be the last one for this season, which is going to be the story of Owen Hart at Kemper Arena, that fateful day. And
I'm gonna keep it real. I don't want to see that, man.
I don't want to see anything related to that event. But I am interested to hear the stories. But Jim Ross being involved in this, man, it's gonna be hard. I'm like this one I might have to turn this one off midway through. I just might have to. But either way, I'm gonna try to do my due diligence for the pencil pushers to see if we can muscle through that one. Lastly,
Shout out to the Beatdown Clan.
Yeah. Oh, that Beatdown Clan back big. So we're seeing Lashley and MVP starting the precursors to rebuilding the Beatdown Clan in WWE. Issa and Molly, Insecure. Yeah, we're talking Insecure because we have some oh man. So who's wrong here? I have my thoughts. I believe Issa is wrong as shit.
I believe they're both wrong, but in the instance that ended the last episode, Molly out of pocket.
So I think that if you see a lit fuse on the ground, you typically want to pour water on it or step on the fuse. You never want to go to that fuse with lighter fluid. And I think that Issa going to, we're talking about episode 5 of Insecure, season 4. If you haven't watched it yet, this is a spoiler alert. If you go into that shit and you spray lighter fluid on a lit fuse and haven't done anything to try to even take the fuse out, that's just your fault. Because you lit the fucking fuse. Issa out here thinking that Molly out here steady thought boxing, while meanwhile she the one losing condoms up inside her. While a dude who got a chick pregnant and he already got 2 kids.
It's neither here nor there.
True, it will be. I think Issa pregnant.
No, with Molly reserves the right to refuse service like any other establishment. No shoes, no shirt, no service. Now, if I go next door and get those same services from someone else that just happens to be the supplier for you too, that isn't exactly what's the problem?
It's hating the player, hating
the shit that got you.
I don't think
got you upset enough.
I think the issue there for me is the fact that not the fact that Issa had to bother to go behind her back and ask, because that going behind the back shit's some sucker shit too. But more so the fact that Issa made it all about her and not about Molly, and she been ghosting Molly this entire season. Like that's not even growing apart. That's just being shady. You're not taking phone calls. You're not going by the crib for Thanksgiving. These are traditions. You don't break traditions.
Here's the thing, bro.
Ain't no COVID storyline in this shit.
If I mention to someone else that I'm looking for some type of help, and they take it upon themselves because she talked to Nathan decided to go talk to his homeboy, and then that's how that happened. If I say to someone else I need help, and they decide to go work some channels to help me, it just so happens to be the same person that I asked you to have help me, and you refused. How is that going behind someone's back? That part, like you being sensitive. You being sensitive.
Well, no. How can you say that she being sensitive when Issa asked Molly to basically work it better in bed so she'll pull the favor off? That's what turned Molly off from even asking him.
Okay,
go be a better bitch to your boyfriend for me. It's basically what she asked him.
Is that not how women converse?
I don't know. I'm not a woman.
You know women.
I'm not going to sit there and generalize every one of them. Are they both out of pocket? Yes. I place my blame more so on Issa, though.
I can't do that. See, here's the thing. When you go through all that and then you find out how she was able to save her event, now you feel like she walked over you. Like, no, she just ended up dealing with another person. I went through another supplier. I found another way to get to the plug. That's it.
Ran off on the plug twice.
You didn't have to violate the boundaries of your relationship, but that guy's day job is booking talent. So at the end of the day, he was doing his job. So you can't stop him from doing his job just because you don't like who he's working for that day.
Right.
That's where you have no jurisdiction. If that guy had overheard a conversation between y'all and decided he wanted to help, or if he decided it was just a good business move for him to have one of his artists at that event, that's his business. That's his choice to make. So if you're going to be upset with him. Hey, I told her not to bother you with that. I'm upset. Like, no, you're just upset because someone made a move and didn't need you for it.
And there's that. This is applied broken pencil logic when it comes to a sitcom completely unrelated to professional wrestling. And
it kind of explains the Road Warriors relationship. Like,
well, there's your 1 degree of separation right there.
That part.
Petty Messiah.
Like, they both trash as fuck. Team Kelly. Let's get drunk.
And have accents. Petty Messiah. Anything you need to close us out with?
Again, everybody, none of this is real. Just you know, you get what you get.
Shake the snow globe.
It's just not fair.
We almost do it, y'all. We almost do it. Suave, take us to the house.
Man, pencil pushers. Get these toxic ass friends out your life, fam. You need to grow and elevate.
Get these squares out the circle.
Don't let a motherfucker bring you a half-eaten basket of wings. Pencil pushers. Heads up, pencils down.
Piece of trash, fam.
Molly trash. Every last one of them garbage. Team Lawrence.
This is the worst podcast with the worst episode of a sitcom show we've ever had in our life.
I don't know what's going on
All
here.
time. Do you hear me?
The goat of the bad. We got goat shit, man. We got goat shit.